Okay, another request video I'm going to do from this viewer, and whether or not the term people of color is a con game, and whether I would say that whether it's a con game or whether it's a hindrance to black progress. Sorry about that. Well, people of color, now that's a very complex term to use because, I mean, people of color, like which color is benefiting and which color is not benefiting. Now, the black race has always been at the bottom of the global economic ladder. Because, I mean, you think about this. Most black Americans, they're the poorest people in America. And black people on the African continent. Africa is the most poorest continent on the planet. So we're not quite better than most black Americans. In fact, we're about the same boat as most black Americans in America. And people of color, I would say, it's a very confusing term. I would say it's very confusing because which color is not benefiting? I would say the black race is not really benefiting from this people of color. And there's all these other complicated terms like diversity and inclusion and equity. What is that? Diversity. Because most corporations, you look at the board of directors, as I said in previous videos, most of the people in the board of directors of these companies are white people. Maybe there's some Asian and there's some Hispanic, but mostly white people are sitting in these board of directors, I would say. If you really think about it, you see. But people of color, I would say, in a way, I think it's a manipulation in a way to black progress. There's most of these white supremacists just throw these terms onto the table just to show that black people are progressing and in these are basically being included in these say in these workplaces or other institutions. And I would say not quite. The people of color term is not quite for black people, I would say. I would say mostly people of color would be a term more for like Hispanics, maybe some South Asians and East Asians such as Chinese and Koreans and Japanese people. And Hispanic people, maybe like Mexicans and Colombians and all these other groups, people. I mean, and mostly maybe from Brazil as well, or Europe as well. I mean, oftentimes I would say that this people of color term is in a way confusing, in a way a hindrance to black progress globally, not just in America. But of course, most black Americans, they're still not getting their fair share, or still not being treated as equals. In fact, I would say with this Democrats voting putting their votes into the White House, they're getting more treated like second-class citizens. And look at Donald Trump. Who do you think voted for Donald Trump? Was it black people that voted for him? No. It's mostly white people that voted him into the White House. Donald Trump into the White House. I mean, You think about this, most black Americans, they only make up about, I think, 12, 13% of the population. And the majority of the people in America are white. About 65, 70% of people in the United States are white. So who do you think gave more of a push for Donald Trump to get voted into the White House? And who do you think voted Joe Biden into the White House? The majority of the people are white. That is my conclusion. You can do the research and come to your own conclusions. But I would say overall, these people of color, I would say is a very confusing term. And I think it's a hindrance to black progress. And also terms like diversity and inclusion and equity. They're very confusing terms as well. Because you look in the workplace in most companies or board of directors in most companies, it's not, you begin to find out they're not very diverse as they claim. And that's all I have for this commentary.